This video is brought to you by CENDANA, Malaysia's umbrella body for the cultural and creative economy, connecting creators, regulating bodies, private businesses, policymakers, and consumers, nurturing these entities individually while keeping a collective goal. For more information, do check out the links in the description below. Before this episode, I was thinking a lot about the word career, right? And I actually looked it up on dictionary.com and it just goes as simple as this. An occupation or a profession, especially one requiring special training, followed as one's life work. So a lot of keywords within that, you have occupation, you have profession, you have special training, and then life work. And the reality of it is that career or profession, whichever way you like it, has become pretty much the bedrock of society and survival. We must have it. It's a natural course of action. So you already mentioned that you were doing a lot of that to some capacity. If I were to ask you this question, like if you really were a career guidance counselor by trade as well, which you could still be in the future and you're already at this point, I see career as three different, let's say, segments. Yeah. There's the career planning part. So before people actually go into universities to choose a particular study, then there's the career development part where you're within the industry, we got there, and then you're progressing as you go along. And then the last one is very much related to Career Crossroads, which is career transition, where you have to fork out. Now, based on your existing experience, which of these three have been firstly the most enjoyable to talk about and hopefully the most challenging to talk about?
I think I have to go with the third one, Crossroads and the career transition. And that's because that is the area of interest that I started with in my podcast. And for reference, the reason why I kind of got there was I started having my own sort of early life crisis where I was like, is this what I'm going to do for the rest of my life? I don't know. And I need to think about how I can branch out, because all of my practical experience comes from doing one particular type of job. And I was thinking, how can I transition from this into something else if that is what I choose to do? And when I talk to all these other people that I interview, those are the moments I'm focused on with them. And what you realize, what they sort of realize as I talk to them, and I'm curious to hear if this was your experience, is a lot of people, they think back to like when they were picking their initial career, what were the factors that went into it? And a lot of the times they can't even remember because it's in the past. It's not as relevant to them, but because they currently or recently went through some sort of transition, it's much more centered in their memory. They remember it. They remember every specific reason why that happened. So that has become such an interesting thing for me. And I think maybe because I work with students, I see all these 18 to 22-year-olds who like, why are you studying this? What was your interest level in this? And they're like, oh, I saw this character in a movie and that looked like a cool job. Or their parents suggested it as a good option to study because there's good jobs at the end of the day. And I think there's a lot less thought into what your career will be like when you're 18 or 16 versus when you're 30 or 40 or pick a year. Once you've had some experience in the workforce and you start to really nail down on what are the things that day to day practically in your job you enjoy, and is your current career trajectory going to line up with what those actual day-to-day things are? I think that's really where it starts to get interesting, because the more experience you have, the easier it is to nail down on that kind of thing.